Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm going to be talking about how I passed my test with one minor and basically giving you some advice if you are doing your test soon or you're doing lessons, basically to help you pass as well. So make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, smash the subscribe button down below, and let's get right into today's video. Let's go. So as I mentioned, I passed my test about a month ago now with one minor, and I was so happy. So I'm going to get onto that a little bit later on, but I just want to start with like my whole process of like learning and kind of like my journey on driving lessons and stuff like that. So I actually did my theory before my driving lessons, so I had already done it and passed before I'd even started lessons, and that was because there was a waiting list to actually like start learning to drive. And so I kind of saw it as a perfect opportunity just to get my theory out the way, because I know a lot of people can struggle with it, and I was like, I will have all my time to basically revise that. So that's what I did. I used an app which I'll try and find, and maybe I'll put it on screen or add a link in the description, but I think it was about £5 or something like that. And honestly, the app was amazing. It had all the revision notes, it had mocks, even the hazard perception, it had like mocks of that, because I know that one is kind of tricky for some people, and it had like mocks on that, which was really, really useful. So it was a really good app, and I personally learn best through writing things down. So I just had a notebook dedicated to it and kind of made all my notes on there, and yeah, I managed to pass first time on my theory, which I was really happy with. And genuinely I found it really useful to do my theory before my driving, because I already had like a lot of knowledge of the road and like different signs and stuff like that, which just honestly made driving so much easier because I knew what a lot of the things were already. So yeah, I started driving probably a month or just under a month after I did my theory, and I was so bad. I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't driven before and I was terrible. It definitely took a long time for me to build up a lot of confidence. I was so nervous and scared at the beginning. I would always make mistakes with the gears. I don't know why, I just couldn't really get my head around the gears, and I would always, when I was putting it down, like put it in the wrong one by accident. It was just like not fun. And also my driving instructor, like there's a bit of a problem with like timing, and they were always fully booked. So some weeks I wouldn't have a lesson, and there was a time where it was like a month I didn't have a lesson, which was just not great. So I started lessons November 2023 for reference, but it was kind of off and on, and my lessons were 2 hours and a half, which is so long. Like, I'm not gonna lie, 2 hours and a half of driving straight. By the end of it I was literally sweating, like it was so stressful already. So it was quite a long time to be driving each week, but it really did help me get the practice, and in hindsight maybe it was good because, you know, it got me to where I was today. But yeah, so I started in November, and I actually had booked my test in November because the waiting list is still so backlogged, it's ridiculous. So I booked it in November for April of this year, so 2024. Yeah, but obviously I didn't realise I was going to have like such big gaps sometimes within my lessons just because of availability. And so when April did come around, I was going to still do my test even though I didn't really feel that ready, because I was like, you know, I could pass. Glad I didn't do that test, because basically a couple days before the instructor's car broke, so I had to move it, and I moved it to July, which I am glad it broke down. Like, I was so gutted in the moment, but you know what, I wasn't ready. Like, I was not a confident driver. Even if I did pass, I genuinely think it wouldn't have been like safe or like good, because I just didn't feel confident yet still. So yeah, that got moved, and about April time I was still like a little bit struggling. I was like, I'm never gonna pass. Like I was really struggling with the gears, and I actually decided to move to a new instructor because mine just had no availability. It was like gonna be a month and a half until my next test, and it was just, it's not ideal taking big breaks like that. So I actually moved to a new instructor in June time, and from the first lesson I felt so confident. Like I don't know what it was, I don't know if it's the change of car or just they were so different to my old instructor, but yeah, from the first lesson I just felt so much more comfortable and confident. And they basically agreed that I was like ready to go at that point, ready to do my test. So I kept it for July still, did a lot more practice with them, and I actually felt like I was a pro. Like I felt so, yeah, just happy driving. Even like the things that scared me before, like I was fine with, and I was just really getting the hang of it, which was really good. So my July test comes around. The day before the test pace cancelled it, and I was literally distraught. Like I was just crying because I was like, I know the backlog is so long, like it's like a 6 months wait, and I'm like, that's not good. But luckily they rebooked it for 2 weeks time from the original test date, so I was very, very lucky that they like rebooked me in. So yeah, I did a couple more lessons with my instructor just to, you know, keep it up regularly, because bearing in mind I didn't do any practice outside of my test. Like I didn't have my own car or anything like that, so when I did my lessons that was solely what I was doing. And I think in total I did around 40 to 50 hours, I want to say, of driving. I think more in the 50 hours, maybe even a little bit more, but yeah, I did about 50 hours. And then my test comes around and it went so well. Like I got the easiest show me tell me question. Like it was really good. I went down all the nice roads, and then literally it was the manoeuvre and it was forward bay, and I was so happy. I was like, I've got this in the bag, I'm gonna pass. And I couldn't have messed it up more. I think the pressure got to me so much and I just completely messed it up, I'm not gonna lie. So I went in, luckily I realised and I readjusted, and then like I had to readjust again, and then I'd actually thought I failed. Like I thought I failed because I still didn't think I was in, and obviously like you can only have so many attempts, and so I was like, yeah, and that my face must have dropped in that moment, because I was like, that's great, that's all done, like all for nothing, I'm gonna have to rebook to get another test. And I was honestly so gutted. I really thought my front tyre was over the line. Anyway, we get back to the test centre and I have to do another forward bay. Did it perfectly. I was like, this is typical. And turns out I did pass. My wheel was just on the line, but it wasn't over, so I only got the minor. And yeah, I was so happy. So yeah, that's kind of like the process. It was actually a really, really nice test. I was so scared, but it's actually quite good, like just talking to the examiner, and it was actually quite chill. It just felt like a normal lesson, which was quite nice. So yeah, my test actually went really good, and I obviously only got one minor, which is amazing. Before I did my test and while I was learning, I used to I watched a lot of the driving lesson videos. I think it's like Clearview Driving, so good, like that really, really helped me. I would see them do mistakes and then it would help me to not do it, or you know, like if they did something really good then I could like include that, and just watching the videos really, really helped. And yeah, I just couldn't recommend it enough. Like I love watching them, and honestly I think it really benefited me. Like a lot of the things that maybe I was doing bad before, it just helped me to learn how to do it and things like that. And it's just like an easy way, like they're 10-minute 20-minute videos, like just to watch occasionally. And I know a lot of people do it and find them really helpful, so I think that's one way to just help with like driving generally. Another thing is like just not putting too much pressure on yourself, because I used to put so much pressure on myself, and when I had a bad lesson I'd be like, I'm never gonna pass, like it would get me down so much. But I think it's just, it takes time, it will take time, and it's very uncommon to be naturally like amazing at it first time, and it is annoying because it takes so long, but just know that it will come over time. Yeah, especially for me, it did take a while. Also, I think that if you have an instructor who maybe like isn't the best, then maybe looking at alternative options, because I think the switch for me really did help. Just for them last couple of lessons, just helping me to kind of perfect everything and feel a lot more confident driving. So yeah, I don't know, obviously it depends on your situation, but just always keeping that option open. Also, if you are struggling with any aspect, just bringing that up to your like instructor or something is so important, because they'll be able to help you with that. Because I know sometimes I was like a little bit scared to ask, but like that's what they're there for, and they'll be able to help support you in that particular area. Like for me it was the whole gears thing, so yeah, I know that's kind of a basic one, but no, obviously don't feel afraid to, because that's literally why they're there. And yeah, I think that doing the theory test before also was just helpful to understand the roads a bit more, and it meant like we didn't have to spend so much time like going over the basics, which was quite useful. But obviously that depends on like what you want to do, but yeah, I did really find that beneficial. So yeah, it will all come with time, and I just think it's practicing and having that consistency as well, which is really beneficial. So yeah, I'm now driving and I'm literally so happy. I definitely think you kind of learn to drive a little bit more once you've done your test. Like everyone says it, but when you drive independently, that's when like you're dealing with challenges and you kind of do learn to drive basically. So yeah, that's kind of it for today's video. I know it's quite short and kind of a little bit of a story time, but hopefully that kind of helps you in some way. Maybe, I don't know, it's just an interesting video to watch. So yeah, if you guys do have any questions or anything about doing your test or anything like that, then just pop it in the comments down below and I'll probably reply to it. But yeah, I hope you all did enjoy. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, smash the subscribe button down below and turn post notifications on so you never miss an upload. And other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!